But first, let's get to the day's headlines with Sky News contributor Prue McSween. Now, just a warning, this next story might be distressing to some viewers. Victorian taxpayers are being forced to watch their hard-earned money go towards more unmitigated trash being paraded as art, with the government-funded Rising Festival due to show a controversial theatre performance in which an artist will be drugged and penetrated in front of a live audience as part of the commentary on the spectre of sexual violence. The audience will be able to also see a live video feed of what is inside the unconscious artist's vagina as she simulates a post-rape forensic examination. Prue, you'd think a debt-riddled state that even the Labor Premier of New South Wales has today called a welfare state would find better uses for our money.
You would, Rita, but, you know, they've committed to this social agenda, this wokeness where, you know, parking this kind of money is considered, you know, valiant, something that they should be doing. I mean, they're promoting this festival based on this rather atrocious and clearly cathartic experience that this artist, as we call her, who experienced this horrific event 10 years ago, and suddenly now we have her wanting to inflict this on people who will find it perhaps either very confronting, sickening, or of course those sickos who might find it triggering and, you know, something that they could find inspiring to do. So, you know, you just have to wonder, don't you, that a government like the Victorian government that has so lost its way would suddenly think that this is something to champion and throw its money at. I hope the Victorian people realise how ridiculous and ludicrous and obscene this is.
If you want to do this, whatever your reasons are, and people want to go along and watch it, pay to see it, fine. But it's the use of taxpayer money that is just a massive no, as far as I'm concerned. Talking about New South Wales Premier Minns, this is what he had to say today about Victoria being subsidised by New South Wales.
If the previous regime was in place, we would have got 94 cents in the dollar. Now we're looking at a situation where we're going to get 86 cents in the dollar, and a lot of that money is going to be sent to Western Australia, which is chock full of cash from the mining boom, or down to Victoria, which is now a welfare state receiving a whole bunch of money from the pockets of New South Wales families.
Prue, that is fighting words right there for a Labor Premier to be calling a Labor state a welfare state. He knew what he was doing there, and I'm going to be very interested to see how this clash between New South Wales and Victoria unfolds.
Well, it's ironic, isn't it? Because Labor is doing this in WA, parking out all this money because they want the WA vote. And so it's quite ironic that a Labor Premier is having a dig. But he's right. We have Victoria in this shocking state because they've demonised coal and gas, shutting it down, so they're not getting the commodity inputs that the other states are getting, clearly, from the resource boom. And so now they've got their begging bowl out. And, of course, the rest of Australia is going to have to pay the price, with Albanese saying he's going to allocate and compensate another $5 billion to the rest of us. So what's going to suffer? Who's going to pay for all of this? It's just inept government, and that's what we have with Labor.
Now, Opposition Leader Peter Dutton wants to outlaw crime for clicks videos as we battle a youth crime crisis. Many young offenders film and post their videos of violence on platforms like Snapchat and TikTok. They do it for clout, social media clout. He wants those who do that to face jail time. Prue, is that plan realistic? Typically, crime would be a state issue, not a national issue.
Well, yeah, so maybe he's testing the waters. Obviously, he knows that it is an issue that's affecting every state, and it's also an Achilles heel of the Albanese government, particularly in the Northern Territory, but with Labor governments all around the country. Clearly, we have an issue. These kids are posting these videos because, you know, it gives them some sort of self-esteem. But I liked David Littleproud's idea of doing some sort of divergence plan where they take these kids, put them out in a remote Australia, teach them a skill and teach them some self-respect and away from harm's way in their home environment. So I think it's a good idea and it should be investigated.
Now, former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has scored an own goal. If you look at this post about nuclear energy, he is very much pro-renewables, we know that, and he previously has called Peter Dutton's nuclear push bonkers. But he posted this on X. He said, nuclear reactors do not firm up renewables. Solar and wind are intermittent, depending on sunshine or wind to make electricity, but we have them in great abundance. To firm them, we need flexible, dispatchable sources of zero-emission energy, such as pumped hydro, batteries or green hydrogen. Nuclear reactors cannot turn on and off, ramp up and down like hydro or batteries can. Nuclear reactors generate continuously. Oh, this rerun of the climate wars is yet another example of history repeating itself, first as tragedy and then, as we see today, as farce. Prue has said the quiet bit out loud there. Nuclear reactors generate continuously. They provide reliable, continuous energy, which makes renewables obsolete.
Maybe he'd raided his wine cellar when he wrote this this tweet. It's so bizarre, as you say.
I'm not suggesting that.
No, well, maybe not. But I mean, he clearly has got something weird going on in his brain about this because, you know, it is an own goal. We know that his prize, Snowy 2, was, is a total disaster. We have it, overblown by $10 billion and counting, and it's so late in terms of when it was supposed to be in action. So if we're relying on his hydrogen energy and his other, brain trusts, well, then we're in trouble, aren't we? And nuclear power is the best option, and we all know that. Wind and solar is not going to be a reliable source of energy for us, and we need to go for the zero net emissions of nuclear. It's as simple as that.
It is, but there are many people who've invested heavily in renewables who would be very much against that option being explored further. Now, famously unfunny US talk show host Stephen Colbert, he has his own nightly program and he has now weighed in on this Kategate scandal. He has gone a little bit rogue, Prue, suggesting the Photoshop fail could be related to Prince William's alleged affair. Have a look.
The kingdom has been all aflutter by the seeming disappearance of Kate Middleton. Well, now internet sleuths are guessing that Kate's absence may be related to her husband and the future King of England, William, having an affair. Oh, no. Since 2019, according to tabloids back then, when Kate supposedly confronted him about it, he laughed it off, saying there was nothing to it. Aha, always a good response when your wife accuses you of cheating. Imagine me having an affair. It is to laugh. It reminds me of a jape. Knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, it's my illegitimate son. I've knocked up my mistress.
Prue, we'll get the final word on this controversy, hopefully for the last time ever, from Douglas Murray shortly. But I do need your theory on what we've heard and seen this week. And feel free to pass any comment on Stephen Colbert.
Well, for a start, we need to check this bloke's ratings. He's obviously trying to get a headline or two, and the canned laughter was quite pathetic. Look, this whole saga, I think, has been so overblown. It's a very strange series of events, and we know that. I tend to believe that she probably just did the amateur editing and photoshopping and made a serious mistake. one will never know, I guess, what's really behind it all. The fact that they're dragging up a supposed affair is really just trying to give this story some more air. And I just find it really pathetically sad that they're doing it. But the palace has clearly got to do something about, you know, clearing up or, I don't know, making sure that we all understand what's going on with Kate, because it's a mystery and it's going to go on, this conjecture, until we do have an understanding of, you know, what was her health issue, when is she coming back to royal duties, and let's not scrape the bottom of the barrel with all these theories. You know, it's just, and myths. It's pathetic.
Now, before you go, Prue, let's check in on Greta Thunberg. Swedish police have had to forcibly remove her from the entrance of the Swedish Parliament after she and other protesters blocked it for a second day. There she is, being carried away. You know what? She's an adult now. She's no longer a child, Prue, and she has done enormous damage. This attention-seeking young woman has caused so much damage with bad policy and also just sending kids into climate anxiety with her catastrophist predictions about climate change.
She's a parody of herself. You know, will someone just give the girl a job if she's able to do it? I mean, it's just pathetic and so sad.
You're right. She missed a lot of school, so I don't know what she's qualified to do, but let's hope she finds meaningful employment and soon. Prue McSween, thank you for your time this evening.